Have you ever felt it? The tension in the room when you walk in, the silence behind the smiles, the way eyes follow you, not with admiration, but with calculation. They say, "You're glowing," but deep down, you feel it's not a compliment. It's a warning, because that glow, it threatens something in them. If you're a woman who's been set apart, not by the world, but by something higher, if you carry purpose like armor and grace like fire, then this message was sent straight to your soul. This is not about vanity. This is about divine selection. Because when heaven chooses you, hell takes notice. And the world, it starts whispering behind your back while watching your every move. You'll understand today why chosen women attract envy, why favor feels heavy, why your name sparks emotions you never asked for. You are not paranoid. You're not imagining things. You were born with a light that exposes the dark, and people will resent what they can't become. This video will not comfort you. It will awaken you. It will explain what your spirit has been sensing all along. And by the end, you'll walk differently, talk differently, and stop apologizing for being exactly who you are. But first, if this speaks to you, like it, subscribe if your soul's been searching for truth, and drop a 99 in the comments, because Psalm 99 says, "He is exalted over all the nations, and his justice is seen by the chosen." That number is a mark, a sign that you were never average. Now breathe deep, because what's coming next will change how you see everything. Have you ever felt that you walk into a place and everything changes? You didn't say anything. You didn't look at anyone differently. But something in the atmosphere tightened, as if your mere presence had activated invisible alarms. That's not a coincidence. That's energy. Chosen women don't need to speak loudly. Their soul is already screaming something that many don't know how to interpret, but they do feel it. And what they feel unsettles them. It's a different vibration. It cannot be learned. It cannot be imitated. It's carried from before birth. You are not just any woman. When you enter, gazes don't turn because of superficial beauty. They fix on you because they perceive something sacred, something that challenges the silent rules of the world. Your energy changes the atmosphere, effortlessly, unintentionally, and that, for those who live chained to external validation, is unbearable. Because you are not trying to fit in. You are here to awaken, and awakening others annoys those who prefer to stay asleep. Your essence speaks in a language that not everyone understands, but everyone feels it. Some feel inspired, others exposed. And that's where envy is born. Not from what you do, but from who you are without asking for permission. They can't explain why they watch you so much, why they criticize you without knowing you, why your silence feels like a mirror, but you can feel it. And for years you doubted yourself. You wondered if you were the problem. If you should tone it down, hide your light, be less. No, it wasn't your fault. It was your energy, screaming truths they didn't know how to face. And now that you know, you can't go back. Because what comes after this block is not a story for just anyone. It's a revelation for women who are already awakening. And what you're about to discover in the next minute could shatter years of doubt. She doesn't enter to compete. She's not even playing the same game. And yet, she triggers invisible wars wherever she sets foot. Why? Because her mere presence unmasks what many have spent years trying to hide. A chosen woman doesn't seek attention. Attention seeks her, not because she wants it, but because her soul awakens something that others have buried. She walks with confidence, but without arrogance. She speaks with firmness, but without humiliating. She loves deeply, but without begging. And all of that is a threat to those who never dared to heal. Do you know what really bothers them? That she doesn't need to destroy anyone to shine, that her light doesn't come from validation, but from the inner fire she is nurtured in silence. When she enters, she makes no noise. But her peace is a mirror that reflects the wounds others have yet to face. That's why she unsettles. That's why they criticize her. That's why they invent stories, exaggerate her mistakes, minimize her achievements. Not because she's arrogant, but because her humility exposes their pride. Not because she's perfect, but because her inner work reveals the superficial in others. Many can't stand her, but secretly they study her. They imitate her style. They watch her words. But they will never be able to replicate her essence, because her power doesn't come from ego, it comes from heaven. And the more secure she becomes, the more those who built their worth on the approval of others begin to tremble. She doesn't attack them. She doesn't confront them. She doesn't even mention them. And yet, her very existence destabilizes them. Because when a woman who is healed, strong, and conscious stands firm, all those who live broken begin to shake. And what I'm going to reveal to you in the next block is going to open your eyes to something no one dares to say, but that you've felt your entire life without being able to explain it. Get ready. What's coming is raw truth, and it's going to touch fibers you didn't even know needed awakening. Not everyone can bear the weight of your favor. Many applaud your shine until they discover that shine didn't come for free. When a chosen woman is favored, doors open that others have been knocking on for years without an answer. And that hurts. It hurts to see someone walking in what you are still waiting for. But what they don't see is that the woman who is admired today was first ignored. She was tested. She was broken in secret while the world slept. They didn't see her. Nights on the floor, asking God for strength not to give up. They didn't see the no's she had to accept, the betrayals she had to overcome, the tears she never posted on social media. So, when favor arrives, when the heavens open and the anointing falls upon her life, many feel anger. But it's not against her. It's against the reflection of what they have yet to receive. Because favor reveals uncomfortable truths, that not everyone is ready for what they claim to desire, that some want the crown, but not the scars. They want the light, but not the darkness where that woman was formed, and you know it. Your blessing was not a coincidence, it was a reward, for sowing in dry land, for believing when no one understood you, for standing tall while everything inside you screamed to give up. So when you walk with favor, don't be surprised if some turn their backs on you. They are not hating your success. They are wrestling with their own frustration, because favor exposes not only what God has done in you, but what has yet to happen in them. And there lies the most delicate point. Some will prefer to attack you rather than admit that God raised you up. But that won't stop you, because the same favor that offends is the one that protects you. And in the next block, you're going to understand something even deeper. Why your very existence offends those who settled for less. What's coming is going to challenge everything you believed about your worth. A chosen woman doesn't negotiate her worth. She doesn't lower her standards to be accepted. She doesn't fit into human molds when she was designed by heaven. And that unsettles many. We live in a world that applauds what is good enough. That rewards mediocrity disguised as humility. That celebrates what is lukewarm, comfortable, what doesn't make anyone uncomfortable. But she wasn't born for that. She loves deeply, but she doesn't accept crumbs. She speaks clearly, but she doesn't seek approval. She moves with purpose, not with haste. And her very existence is a silent judgment to those who settled for less. Because her excellence doesn't scream, but it reveals. Her faith doesn't impose, but it unsettles. She doesn't demand respect, she embodies it. And that offends those who never learned to respect themselves. In meetings, they call her intense. In relationships, they label her complicated. On social media, they criticize her for thinking too highly of herself. But what really bothers them is that she doesn't settle for the bare minimum. It's not that she asks for too much. It's that the world has learned to offer too little. She has standards that weren't born from pride, but from the process, from the wounds she healed, from the cycles she broke, from the tears she translated into wisdom. And every time she says no to what doesn't honor her purpose, she breaks a chain that many others are still carrying. That makes her a threat. Because her life sends a silent message. You don't have to stay there. You don't have to accept less. You weren't born to survive, but to reign. And that, my friend, is dynamite in a world accustomed to submission. That's why they prefer to call her arrogant, rather than admit that her way of living confronts them. Because it's easier to attack someone who shines with high standards than to look in the mirror and ask, why did I accept so little for so long? And what you will discover in the next block is not just a truth, it's a mirror, one that will show you why certain people disappeared from your life, right when you started choosing yourself. Envy, though it hurts, is a sign that you have been marked, set apart, separated for something greater. Because let's be honest, no one envies what is invisible. No one is bothered by what does not represent a threat. So, why have they watched you with suspicion? Why so many hidden glances, so many disguised sighs, so many double-edged words? Because your presence confirms what they don't want to accept. That there is something in you that does not come from this world. That you carry a fire that cannot be extinguished. That you bear a divine evidence that cannot be hidden. Envy, in reality, is an involuntary confession. It is another soul saying, I see your power, and I don't know how to handle it. Your growth confronts them. Your peace destabilizes them. Your faith exposes them. And even if they try to disguise it with fake smiles, the discomfort is palpable. The atmosphere changes when you arrive. And that is not paranoia. It is discernment. Because God has covered you with something the world cannot imitate. And even though many deny it with words, they confirm it with their actions. Have you been excluded from circles without reason? Have you felt that something shifts when you speak from your authenticity? Do they question you for dreaming big, for walking with confidence, for not apologizing for being yourself? You are not crazy. You are illuminated. And what is illuminated inevitably unsettles those who still live in shadow. But listen to this. You were not born to fit in. You were born to shine, and that shine comes from heaven, not from the approval of men. So, when you feel envy lurking, don't hide. Don't shrink yourself. Don't adjust to make the insecure feel comfortable, because that discomfort you provoke is a heavenly sign, a spiritual confirmation. God is saying, keep shining, because that discomfort you cause is evidence of my hand upon your life. You are not too much. You are exactly as you were designed. And what I will reveal, in the conclusion, will give you the final answer your soul has been searching for years. Because everything you lived, everything you lost, everything you endured, had a greater purpose than you ever imagined. Get ready. Because what's coming is the truth that will ignite everything you've been dimming out of fear of shining too much. If you are a chosen woman, lift your head, straighten your soul, and walk like someone who knows that heaven has her back. Envy is not your cross. It is their mirror, a reflection of what they have yet to heal, of what they do not understand, of what they wish to be. But do not dare. Do not dim your light for eyes that cannot bear the brightness. Do not shrink your spirit to fit into spaces that God has already outgrown. You were chosen for this time, not by chance, not by luck, but by destiny. Your existence is already an answer. Your presence, a declaration. And your process, a preparation for what you cannot yet imagine. Nothing and no one can stop what God has already written about your life. Not envy, not rejection, not the voices that tried to silence your purpose. Let them watch, let them whisper, let them doubt. Because while they criticize, you advance. While they envy, you flourish. And while they try to understand your path, you are already building empires in silence. You are stronger than you think, more anointed than you imagine, and more necessary than this world is prepared to admit. So listen to me carefully. You were not created to survive the hate. You were created to reign above it. And if this truth touched your soul, comment right now, I was chosen, not by the world, but by heaven. And let the entire universe hear it. Your light is your weapon, your faith, your shield, and your destiny, unstoppable. Now go, and let the darkness tremble, because a chosen woman has just awakened.